Welcome to another episode of WJAG-TV News. I'm Roro.
And I'm Olivia.
And this is WJAG-TV with your weekly school news. This past month, the Hot Rodders of Tomorrow program held a fundraiser in the form of a car show. We sent Oliver Nessel to check it out.
The Cedar Shoals Hot Rodders of Tomorrow program is a team-based competitive engine building program where its members compete with other teams across Georgia and across the nation. As a fundraiser for the program, Miss Lannan and Mr. Darden coordinated a car and bike show, proceeds of which would go directly to the Hot Rodders of Tomorrow of Cedar Shoals. The event took place on Saturday, August 25th in the parking lot of Green Acres Baptist Church. The event featured many classic cars as well as new cars. We talked to a few owners such as Charlie Longera to learn a bit more about them and their cars.
The car that I've got behind me is a 1931 Hupmobile. A Hupmobile was made from 1909 through 1939 in Detroit. This started out as a four-door sedan, and I've made it into a two-door pickup truck. Took 3 years to do. And it's sitting on a 2011 Nissan Frontier chassis. So everything mechanical on it is Nissan Frontier. It's got a four-cylinder, fuel-injected engine with a 6-speed overdrive tranny. It's got air conditioning and ABS brakes, and it runs really nicely.
1985 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. When I have time, I spend 4 or 5 hours a day on it. And I've been working on it for 7 years. Do it a little bit each time that I can. When I got time, I do it. And there's sometimes I've been on at nighttime to 2 or 3 in the morning. Well, I've always liked NASCAR, and I've always liked Dale Earnhardt. So I decided to get me a Monte Carlo and fix it up something similar to his. Goodwin's car.
In order to learn a bit more about the event and the programs it supported, we talked to Mr. David Darden, the leader of the programs and the co-coordinator of the event.
There's what's called a career pathway, and if a student starts in 9th grade, by the time they're a junior, they would have taken all 3 levels of my automotive class, and they will receive, if they pass what's called an end of pathway test, they'll receive their own ASE certificate where they can take that and get a real good paying job. The job opportunities for automotive technicians right now are immense. I mean, a student with even minimal automotive skills can walk into a good paying job tomorrow, basically. We do other types of fundraising. We do car washes. We do service work in our shop, oil changes, tire rotations, brake jobs, things like that. The proceeds we make from those jobs goes towards our program as well. Those obviously that want to pursue an automotive career, we provide a good, solid beginning for that type of career, and probably 10 or 15% of my total students go into an automotive career. I don't know how much we made today, but I think it was well over $500 or $600, and that's going to go right towards our automotive program.
I always wondered what students did after they graduated and went to college.
Well, Trent Dennison interviewed the class of 2018 on where they are, what they're doing, and how high school prepared them for college.
Sometimes when students graduate and go off to college, they seem to fall off the map. I wanted to know what the class of 2018 thought now that they graduated and see if they had any regrets from high school.
Do I feel that I was prepared for this after I graduated? I would definitely say so. I've been looking forward to college ever since I started high school. School has always been like building up to this and then graduating and entering a career of my choice. And I took AP Macro economics senior year, which I believe helped a lot. I also took AP Spanish. So for my major and my minor, I think these two things prepared me a lot.
I do feel that I've been prepared for graduation both through the classes I took at Cedar Shoals as well as the teachers at Cedar Shoals being able to kind of make me think in a critical way in order to not only just know facts about a subject, but also be able to critically think about it and kind of work my way through a subject.
In some aspects, yes. In some aspects, no. Notre Dame is a lot different than Cedar, obviously. It's 1,000 miles away from Athens. There's 8,000 students here, maybe about 150 of which are from Georgia. So, I mean, the culture's obviously hugely different. There's a lot of kids from California, New York, stuff like that, and with different backgrounds and different viewpoints, and trying to get used to that and adapting to it is obviously challenging and not necessarily something I got at Cedar. But Cedar did prepare me to like face adversity and stuff like that.
I would say what I did out of school would be work, of course, to have money for rent, tuition, all of those things going out. I also tried to involve myself in as much Spanish as I could, music, having friends that spoke Spanish. And then also read books, read articles, talked to teachers, of course. I got recommendations that helped me get here. And I studied for things that I need to study for, ACT, SAT.
In addition to academics, a lot of the extracurriculars I took at Cedar, such as like Interact Club, NHS, cross country, track, those really helped me budget my time in terms of being able to manage your coursework. So since in high school I was able to balance both taking a lot of AP classes and do a lot of extracurriculars, now that my college classes require a lot more work, I'm able to budget that time because I've been used to it in high school.
I regret that I didn't involve myself in more extracurricular activities. I only did swimming and track, and that was really the only things I did because most of the extracurricular activities I did in my old school before I transferred to Cedar Shoals. But I also tried to get involved in Hope and U-Lead, but those were not so much as involved with the school, except Hope, of course.
I don't have a lot of regrets in high school. I do wish that I could have been a little more socially active and going to like parties and get-togethers, but there wasn't really a whole lot I could have done about that. So in general, there really wasn't that much I regret about high school. I've only really been out of high school for like 4 or 5 months now, so right now there's not much I really regret about it.
My biggest regret was not committing to something early and not committing to something that I loved early and sticking with it. I kind of bounced around a lot. I wanted to play baseball my freshman year. That changed though, so I moved to the band my second year. I decided I wanted to play baseball again my junior year, and I did do so. And senior year I played tennis.
What are my plans for the future? I plan to graduate with a master's in economics and a minor in Spanish. And then after that, I will pursue a career as a financial advisor, maybe an economist, or maybe a trading analyzer. My plans are to go into some business-oriented career.
In the future, I plan on staying in school. As I said earlier, I'm still working at the Center for Applied Genetic Technologies, so I do plan on still working there. I'm currently considering doing a study abroad program in Rome, Italy, which they do it with the classics and the art history department, which is a 6-week program over the summer to Rome where you learn about basically just classics and art history in the place where a lot of it really took place. So yeah, thanks.
Here's Jocelyn with a recap of Homecoming Week.
This past week was School Spirit Week. the students showed us different ways to express their love for Cedar. Monday was Messy Tacky Day, Tuesday we had Twin Day, Wednesday was Character Day, Thursday was Throwback Day, and Friday was Extreme Spirit Day. Check it out. Friday, during the homecoming game, the Jags played against the Oconee Warriors. The Jags fought really hard and took that W with the winning score of 14-0. Later on, during halftime, the members of the homecoming court made their appearance. Congrats to both Tarquavius Nash and Tyra Gresham for being made homecoming king and queen. I'm sure everyone loves dancing. Saturday night, many people showed up and showed out at Cedar's homecoming dance.
The LGBT community has been present in our society for a very long time. However, we usually focus on LGBT youth. Sachio and Roro attended Athens Pride to see how this festival shapes the entire community and not just the younger generation.
Full of color, love, and acceptance, Athens Pride has seen a growth in popularity along with the surge of LGBT movements in the last decade. Because of this, we have begun to associate the LGBT community with the younger generation. However, this is only the partial truth. There are in fact many older people in the LGBT community. I set out to find if youth in the older generation experience the community in the same way and what importance this festival holds for our community.
I feel like Pride is like a way to sort of like express yourself. Like I wouldn't go out looking like this in general. It's a way for everybody to kind of be like in a place that's accepting and like won't care what you're doing, you know?
A festival like this and a parade like this really like draws and invites everybody in and says like we're all welcome in the same space together. There's community there, so that's what I think.
For many, Athens Pride has created a sense of community, not only with those who are in the LGBTQ+ group, but everyone in support of Pride.
Because I think it's a place where everybody has something in common. You find your community, your people. Everybody needs that kind of feeling, a feeling of community and likeness.
As Pride has grown across the nation, it has become easier for children to feel comfortable being themselves.
Festivals like this and other things that Athens Pride does make it easier for the young people that are in different schools to meet one another in a social setting that's not judgmental. So.
I think the experiences are different for youth in the sense that like youth are in school. I think that has maybe adds something different because when you're in school you have like maybe a sense of like I don't know, people bully and people are freaking mean in school, and I think that just makes things different. I think also now the experience probably of younger LGBTQ is probably different than in the past, just because things are changing in many different directions.
However, coming out as a minor has a unique set of problems adults in similar situations don't face.
When you're an adult, you can go wherever you want. When you're 16, you just can't like pack up and leave if you don't like the place that you are. There's money issues, there's parental issues. So being so young and being out doing this is kind of like a big target like on my back.
Well, I didn't come out till I was 40, so I don't have any youth experience, other than the fact that when you look back on your youth, you understand things that maybe you didn't understand at the time.
I think the experiences that the adults have coming from a generation where it wasn't quite as accepted and they've had to fight to get here versus the youth that it's almost been very normal, that it is allowed to be more open. I think it's different.
Of course, there is still some pushback and hate from some, but most people attending this event were there to promote love and acceptance.
I think maybe because of the inroads that previous generations have made, it's easier for the youth to come out and they're more accepting, and because of social media probably their friends are more accepting. It's not kind of everybody knows everybody's business now, so you're not as afraid of things you don't know because you already know that this person likes the same sex or whatever the person is into.
I think that this younger generation is making it more normalized, and that's actually teaching my generation how to make it more normalized. It's definitely something that was not so accepted when I was younger.
While progress has been made, there are still improvements that need to be made to achieve equality for everyone.
I think my hope for that community to be loved, to know how amazing they are. I think hopes for for them to feel welcome and accepted and have that they know that they have a place here. But then also hopes, I guess, for other people to be active in that and not just say like, exist how you are, but say like, no, we all have a role in welcoming each other, being kind to each other, and fighting and advocating for one another. So I think my goals would be that they have the rights that they should have of people of this country, but then also like on a human level that they would feel accepted and loved, and that other people outside the community would do the accepting and loving too.
I hope that eventually people like me won't like have to be afraid to like do drag or just be here.
Oh my gosh, advocating, using their voice for their rights within the I mean, when you think of like how many people in the government are non-LGBTQ community, it's like it's so many. So like using your voice to advocate for people who don't have that like government voice. Also, I think like supporting, loving, choosing to learn about people who are different than you, coming to a Pride Festival, even if you're not in that community, just to learn. I think doing even the little stuff, reading a book, reading an article, if you have a friend, like sitting down, asking them questions about their experience so that you can advocate for them better and just support and love them better. So I think a lot of the little things, but also the deeper, always showing up, supporting them.
Now to sports.
Cedar Shoals had a game last Friday against Oconee County, winning with a score of 14-0.
It was homecoming weekend at Cedar Shoals as the Jaguars faced off with the Oconee County Warriors at Walter Wilkins Stadium. Early in the game, the Cedar defense sacked Oconee quarterback Max Johnson deep in the backfield. The Jaguars moved the ball well early but failed to score in the first quarter. Things changed in the second quarter where Cedar Shoals quarterback Smith posted a huge gain for 45 yards, getting down to the Oconee 12-yard line, creating a great scoring opportunity. This run set up the first score of the game, a 19-yard run off of a lateral by Osiris Walker to give the Jaguars a 6-0 lead and incredible momentum. Once again, the Jaguar defense came up with a big play as Jamal Boyd picked off Johnson at the 50 and ran into Warrior territory, giving Cedar Shoals another possession before the half and another chance to score. Cedar Shoals turned Boyd's interception into the second score of the game, a 15-yard touchdown pass through heavy coverage caught in the back corner of the end zone by Jaden Williams. Followed by a 2-point conversion, the Jaguars led 14-0 at halftime and they never looked back. In the second half, Cedar racked up a second big sack, dropping Johnson back 20 yards as Oconee threatened to move the ball into Cedar territory. Jaguar running back Devontae Bankston showed multiple talents, playing as both a kicker and coming out strong as a running back. During a key moment for Oconee to take back some momentum, they fumbled the ball at midfield to be recovered by Cedar and run back to the Warrior 10-yard line, sealing the game.
I don't know about, I think the team is happy about holding the whole team of Oconee to 0 points because it's more than just Max Johnson. They do a great job running the ball as well, so just to kind of hold that offense to 0 was a pretty good team feat.
Keanu Smith had 86 rushing yards in the Oconee game. How has his ability to run under pressure affected the overall performance of the team?
Well, it helps out a lot because if you got to account for the quarterback to run the ball, that helps your offense out tremendously because we got two pretty good running backs with Osiris Walker and Devontae Bankston. So it's kind of hard to stop all three. So we would like to be a lot more balanced. We know we have to be a lot more balanced in the passing game to get better. So that's one of the areas we're working on.
In the game, Cedar had one PAT attempt and Bankston wasn't able to convert that point. What are you and the team doing to improve on the kicking game?
We need a kicker. So if you got one out there, send them our way.
The cross-country team had a meet last weekend, girls placing 1st out of 5 teams and boys facing 10th out of 13 teams. Thelma and Calvin Williams give us an inside scoop on how that meet went.
Yes. It went pretty good based on my previous meets. It could have been better without the cramps. Well, I drank more water and actually ate lunch instead of skipping lunch because of our school food. Keeping my breathing right instead of breathing with different methods was keep it straight this time. Well, I'm going to make my strides longer instead of what I usually do. I usually keep my strides pretty short instead of going longer. So this time when I go longer, I'll go faster, hopefully. I think we're doing pretty good. Our girls won a trophy last meet, and that's pretty improved after our last few years. So everybody told me there's 200 meters left, so I started picking up my pace and started sprinting, and then this kid next to me started nudging me. I don't like being nudged, so I pushed him back and started running faster to keep up with him or whatever, and we kind of pushed each other to the end, and then we finished together.
Last week's race was very hot and hilly, and the downhills were nice, but it was crowded. And last week's race was really crowded and really hot. The hills were okay, but they weren't too bad. I really like the finish. It's nice because I have upperclassmen who have experience and can help me and teach me with the breathing and what to do if I get cramps or headaches during practice. I've improved on my sprints and my hills because in 8th grade I wasn't very fast with sprints, and now that I'm in 9th grade it's different. And the hills, I used to struggle a lot on the hills when I was in middle school. I can improve on my sprint and mentality and breathing. I don't really think about the finish. I just clear my mind and sprint and push myself to get to the finish line.
Once again, my name is Roro.
And my name's Olivia.
And this has been WJAG-TV with your weekly school news.